abstinence, STDs, teen pregnancy, and safe sex. As high school seniors, we have all heard these terms at least once in our lives. Sex education has been a touchy subject for parents and schools for quite a while. Usually they conquer this by just teaching us abstinence-only programs, but as we all know, teen pregnancy and STD rates among young teens and young adults is a growing problem in the United States. Public schools should start teaching students safe sex practices and not just abstinence-only programs. Teaching the teens safe sex practices will further educate them, hopefully give them the information they need, which will lower teen pregnancy and STD rates, and give accurate information that they will need either now or in the future. So, teen pregnancy, like I said, is a growing problem in the United States. The birth rate for women 15 to 19 years of age is 24.2 per 1,000 women. This is also a significant reason for high school dropouts among young teen girls, and only half of teen moms get their high school diploma by the age of 22. Another growing problem is STDs. 2/3 of high school seniors have had sex by the time they graduate. That's a pretty big number compared to past numbers. So teens and young adults are also the highest age group for having STDs, according to Planned Parenthood. So another big problem that we're seeing nowadays is parents are not wanting to give the talk. We've all heard about the talk, whether it's from other students getting it, from our own parents, or from school. A big problem though is a lot of you, when I interviewed you, a lot of you said that the first time you heard about sex or something involving it was not from your parents. It was from the bus, schools, and not from a teacher, from hallways, older siblings, friends, etc. So if parents are not teaching us about sex, where are we getting our information, and is it accurate or not? This is a problem that schools are trying to figure out. Students, just like you and I, have extremely strong opinions about this issue. For example, a sophomore in high school, Riley Welsh, says, "I have a right to this information. Sexual health is more than just sex. It's about understanding and taking care of your body and being prepared for a healthy future." Also, a junior in high school, Karen, says, "I think our sex ed class would have been much more effective if it had been more realistic. For example, younger people other than regular teachers leading the discussion." So, I've said safe sex practices multiple times. What exactly does it mean? Well, according to Planned Parenthood, it not only teaches sexual activity, but it talks about having a healthy body image. It introduces you to abstinence. It introduces using contraception, human growth and reproduction. It talks about pregnancy, having healthy relationships, and how to recognize unhealthy ones. Talks about having safe sex, good sexual attitudes and values, and basically the sexual anatomy. So whether these students use this information now or in the future, it's very good to educate them, because when they are ready, they will feel more comfortable in their skin, they will be able to take care of their bodies more and become healthier in result of being more educated, and be able to make well thought out decisions so that when they are ready, they can know that they're ready and know what they need to do. So, in conclusion, teen pregnancy and STDs, a growing problem in the United States. Everybody knows it. With parents not giving the talk, schools are having to take action more and more. With different opinions, you will get different solutions, and believe me, there are a lot of different solutions out there. But I think one huge one to consider is public schools teaching safe sex practices to educate our teens and to hopefully lower the teen pregnancy rate and the STD rate among United States teens. Questions? Paige.
Did you read about any schools actually doing, teaching the safe sex education?
A lot of schools are wanting to move toward it. but then, you know, you see more in rural communities, like, you know, our community. There was a school that tried to do it, I think it was in like a city called Omaha or something like that. But they tried to, and the parents rallied, stating that, you know, abstinence-only programs are the only way to go, and if you don't teach just abstinence, then that's saying that, you know, it's okay for teens to have sex, but in reality, you know, whether you're having sex now or whether you have it in the future, you're gonna need this information. You know, it's good information to have, you know, for the future, and so that's kind of, parents are a big, you know, obstacle right now. Audrey?
When do you feel like schools should like teach sex education? Like what grade?
Personally, I think that, you know, no sooner than high school. I mean, my brother's in 8th grade, so like I hear all kinds of stuff and it just blows my mind. I'm like, no, oh my gosh, that I didn't hear about that till like freshman year. But I do think that high school is the safe age to where, you know, we can start talking about them, you know, with safe sex, because, you know, they're a little bit more mature, probably still not more mature enough, but you know, we have a lot of freshmen, sophomores now who are coming in, and, you know, so I think that freshman year probably is the best place to start that. Maggie?
What do you think about our school? Our school practices abstinence. Do you think it's time for us to change that?
Well, I did, when I interviewed everybody and asked them, you know, what they knew about, you know, STDs and teen pregnancy and stuff, we basically hit STDs in health class, but that was basically it. You know, we didn't talk about, you know, reproduction, we didn't talk about, you know, how to keep your body, you know, healthy. We talked about how to prevent STDs, but we didn't really talk about anything like how to prevent pregnancy. I think that everybody just kind of assumes that we already know, but I mean, I feel like a lot of students may not know or may not know the seriousness of it, because, you know, we do see, you know, teen pregnancy even in our area. So I think that our health class does a very good job of hitting, you know, the STD point, but I don't think that, you know, we go as far as we need to with it. Does that make sense?
Now, you mentioned something about 2/3 of high school students have engaged in sexual intercourse. Did you find anything about like what age is the biggest percentage? You know, if it's by the age of 15, 16, 17, 18?
I didn't see anything like that, but the birth rate is from 15 to 19 years, and 2/3 of high schoolers by the time they graduate. So we do know that that's happening from their freshman year to senior year, sometime in that point. But I didn't see an actual like chart of like the age percentage.
So if it's happening by the time they're in high school, wouldn't it make sense to have that education lower, in a lower grade versus?
Probably. It's just, that's the parents, that's just the big obstacle. I feel like parents would be more willing, you know, when they're in high school, because, you know, middle school, I mean, even when they're trying to get it into high school, parents are like freaking out. So I think middle school, they would, you know, protest even more. Oh, you know, you're taking their innocence and stuff like that. But we need to realize that, you know, it is happening earlier and earlier, so.
If 2/3 of students are having sex, why aren't the parents aware? Like, why are the parents being an obstacle, I guess? They just not want to realize that their kids are doing this, or?
I guess so. I just think, well, I don't know, there's a lot of parents that are very conservative, and they just don't want their children, I guess they're afraid that their children are going to be thinking, oh, it's okay to have sex before marriage, because that's not the rules in the house. But that's not necessarily, you know, the fact. The fact is, you know, 2/3 of high schoolers are having sex by the time they graduate. You know, whether they wait or not, they will need this information sometime in the future. And so, where else are they gonna get it?
Okay, good job. Oh, sorry.